The other day, Nothing announced their first ever flagship phone, which is Phone 3, and this is their biggest project yet, along with some over-the-ear headphones that they call Headphone Ones. But I'm gonna focus on one of the changes that happened to this brand new flagship device that a lot of fans from the old devices seem to not like a lot, and other people seem to think it's really cool. And if you're new here, my name is Ray. I do tech videos just like this one. The goal is to hit 10K by the end of the year, so if you subscribe to the channel, that'll be a huge help. Now, the Phone 3 did get a lot of really nice upgrades when you compare it to their other devices. One of those big upgrades is the camera for sure. One of the most impressive things on this triple camera setup on the Nothing Phone 3 is the fact that every single camera is 50 megapixels. On a market where flagship devices usually have their main camera with that high amount of megapixels, then the other ones are a little bit lower, so this is actually kind of cool. So yeah, we have the main camera, 50 megapixels. We have a periscope lens that has 3 times optical zoom, which I cannot wait to see people trying it out, especially with 50 megapixels. And then we have an ultra wide that's also 50 megapixels, and I need to see it as well. Their previous devices had an okay camera, so big expectations for the cameras, especially with this being their brand new flagship device. Even the design is a little bit different. I mean, it does look like a Nothing phone. You see it and you know it's from Nothing, but just the way the cameras are laid out, the little red button on the back of the phone, and even the glyph interface missing in the back, which is something that we're gonna get to in a few minutes. I said red button, I'm sorry, it's a light. The little red light on the back of the phone actually turns on and off when you're recording, letting you know that it's actually recording, mimicking a professional camera or set, which is actually really cool. And there are more things on the back of the phone that we're gonna get to that make the price tag for this phone $799. This flagship device coming in at $799 is actually pretty interesting, just because it's competing with things like the iPhone 16, the Google Pixel 9, or the S25. But it's interesting because it's not with the best of the best like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the S25 Ultra, or the Pixel 9 Pro. Those are a little bit higher on the price range, and I believe they were able to make this phone that price because the chip inside this phone is not the best of the best. The Nothing Phone 3 is rocking the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4, which is found on some mid-range devices, but is also a step lower of the Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is found on devices like the S24 Ultra. NKVHD also mentioned this on his video, how some mid-range devices are rocking this type of chip. Let me show you a clip of that.
A flagship from an upper mid-range chip. So for some context, some other phones using this chip, the Poco F7 and the iQOO Neo 10. Both of these are sub $500 phones.
Now, don't get me wrong, this is a pretty capable and powerful chip. It's also a clever way to make a flagship device and add this to it so they don't have to charge as much, in my opinion. Another thing they added to the device, I imagine to cut costs, is the fact that the glass protecting the screen is Gorilla Glass 7i, which is something that you find also on mid-range devices and not on the more premium devices. On the more premium devices, you get to see Gorilla Victus or Gorilla Victus 2. Yet again, this is something nobody will notice, something that people won't even know about or had any idea about, especially with how good the display is. For the display, we're looking at an AMOLED display with 6.67 inches, pretty sharp, pretty nice to look at. Perfect for entertainment, watching videos, scrolling around, seeing social media, actually on par with the more premium flagship devices. The screen does 120 Hz, obviously, 1600 nits of brightness outdoors, and 4500 nits with HDR, so it's plenty bright. So yeah, all this is pretty cool, but now this change is the one that has the whole community going absolutely nuts, and it's the fact that Nothing got rid of the glyph interface that we're used to seeing on Phone 1 and Phone 2, and they added this new interface called the Glyph Matrix. So what is the Glyph Matrix? Well, the Glyph Matrix is this little interface on the top right of the phone that displays information whenever something is happening. And even though it is different than the Glyph interface, it does solve one of the biggest problems found in the Glyph interface. The point of the Glyph interface is for you to be able to put your phone face down, focus on whatever it is that you're doing, and when you get a notification or something is happening, it lights up. And you're able to customize it and add different patterns depending on who's contacting you or what's happening, which is actually really cool. But at the end of the day, you're still not able to see what it is. You don't know if you should reply to it right away. You still gotta pick up your phone, turn it around, see what it is, decide what you're gonna do with it, then go ahead and place your phone down. So yeah, this is something that will hopefully get fixed with the Glyph Matrix. You also also have the glyph toys like spin the bottle, rock, paper, scissors, just games that you can play and things that you can do with the small screen. You are even able to use the glyph matrix as a camera mirror, even though the information that comes in is pixelated, so it's a little bit tough to see. This thing is open to the community as well, so people will be able to create different things for the glyph matrix, which is actually pretty cool. There's some really smart people out there, so I cannot wait to see what else will be added to it. And I also understand this side of the community that feels some type of way. At the end of the day, you took away the glyph interface, which is one of the things that make the Nothing Phone. But yeah, just throwing some information out there and letting people know how part of the community is feeling. I didn't want this video to be super technical about the phone or anything like that. Fortunately, I won't be able to get my hands on the phone, but I will get my hands on the over-the-ear headphones. So if you want to see that review, make sure you subscribe for that. Hope you have a great rest of your day and see you later in another video. Peace out.